That is something that we all should be trying to practice because there's so many external factors that can impact us, including the pandemic, the politics, elections, work stress. There's so much going on in the world right now. We have to make sure that we are protecting our energy and staying in the mindset that we need to stay in to be our most authentic and most productive selves. So it is a new year, and hopefully everyone has a new look on life and a new vision on what they want and how they want to be. 2020, and I'm sure many can relate, was the year from hell, especially for me, and I'm sure many others as well. Although I lost, I also gained. And I gained strength from my struggles, and it caused me to view things from a different perspective. In 2020, my biggest value was family after the death of my grandmother. I soon learned that multiple family members were beginning to trigger me in different ways. So I began to set boundaries to not only protect my peace, but my energy as well. I began to use the word no more and had no guilt in doing so. You can't allow anyone to just interject their negative vibes and energy into yours, family or not. You have to protect your vibe. So, how do you go about protecting your vibe? Avoid drama and gossip. Gossip has become something that is so second nature for many of us. We see it on reality shows and TV shows. We hear about it at work, and this person did this and that person did that. But instead of speaking poorly of others or passing judgment, what if we began to speak more about our joys? Wouldn't we feel better, perform better at work, and be more fulfilled at home? We have to start combating what's considered quote unquote norm and begin to turn it into something that serves us. So why not talk about our joys? In an earlier episode of Tea and Talk, I discussed why we don't. Or I discussed why many of us don't, but why we should. And what other people consider bragging is actually just us talking about our joys and celebrating ourselves. And I'll say now what I said then, and that is if people get uncomfortable about you speaking about your joys, or they feel as if it is bragging, then baby, those are not your people. Your people want to hear about your joys and share theirs with you as well. Remember that. Avoid anyone or anything that drains your energy. You will know what that is when it happens. I have two things that haven't drained my energy. Number one seems to be social media. I have gotten better at limiting my time that I spend on social media because I realize that it causes me to be less productive in the things that I want to do, and it doesn't really fill me up. It kind of drains me and takes all of my energy. So I would waste my time by scrolling and viewing the lives of others as mine passed me by. Most of what I seen on my timeline was negativity, people who complain about pieces of their lives, and people who just have negative opinions. This may be true for you as well, as social media draining you and that's all you see up and down your timeline. Or another one for me seems to be when I overbook myself. I then find myself moving things to a different day, which makes me feel less productive, which is the opposite of what I set out to do. Maybe it is a certain person for you that drains you. Or maybe it is television that drains you, or whatever. If it drains you of your energy, then it isn't serving you or filling you up. Put yourself before all others. It sounds very selfish. Yes, it does. But it is just the opposite. Hear me out. If we want to be the best version of ourselves, help others, and pour into the lives of our loved ones, then we must be full first. We can't pour from an empty cup, right? So fill yourself up before you try to fill anyone else, or you will have nothing left for yourself at the end of the day, and maybe even resent those who you gave your all to. I take a lot of time to just cater to myself and my needs, whether that is through bubble baths with aromatherapy, Sunday facials for glowing skin, which you guys all know by now that I am in love with my Sunday facials, extra sleep on Saturday morning, or whatever. I make sure that I am refreshed, fulfilled, and replenished, and therefore I am able to offer more of myself to my husband and my son. Take some time to be alone. You have to stay grounded. In order to do so, you have to take the time for yourself to replenish. Take time away from work, away from the kids and the responsibilities, and refresh and replenish yourself. Self-care is really the best care. Be kindly and lovingly to yourself. Sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves and can be our own worst enemy and our own worst critic. Put those negative thoughts and words in the trash. One thing that I began to practice every New Year's is my family and I started this tradition that we write down words that don't serve us, whether they be our thoughts about ourselves, traits we don't like about ourselves, values that no longer serve us, etc. We put those words in black balloons, and we fill them with helium and release them. The black balloon symbolizes the death of those thoughts, words, or traits. In a green balloon, we fill it up with helium and take all the positive traits, characteristics, and morals we want, and we release them to the universe. Green symbolizes new beginnings and a fresh start. I started this tradition because it is like sending those words in the universe to either get rid of or to implement in your life. To protect your vibe, you should also begin to practice positive self-talk and affirmations. You can be like Gabrielle Union in the show Being Mary Jane, with all of her yellow Post-it notes filled with affirmations, or you can get wine glass markers like myself and place affirmations on every mirror in your house. Somewhere you will be reminded to stay in a positive mindset, regardless of the surroundings. Or go on Etsy and find positive affirmation decals and wall sayings and fill your house with words of affirmation and positivity. If you are anything like me, you feel the need to be in control of everything. Some things are beyond our control. Before I realized this, I would find myself stressing and anxious because I hated not being in control. At this stage in my life, I've come to realize that I have to let those things go that are out of my control. Although this is very difficult for me to do, I understand that there's no sense in stressing over something I can't change. I'll give you an example. I stressed myself into anxiety, worrying about when I would close on our house. We were given a date, and then that was an issue, and we had to get out of our townhome by a certain date as well. I had to learn that this was out of my control, and no amount of stress, worrying, or anxiety was going to change the fact that it was out of my control. I had to learn that what's meant for you will always be meant for you. Avoid trying to compare yourself to others. Everyone is at a different stage in life on their journey. Just because someone is on chapter 15 doesn't mean you are behind just because you are on chapter 10. You need everything that those pages say and teach you to get to your chapter 15. So learn and take what you are learning and apply it. Besides, some people's chapters are longer than others. The name of your book is different and the length of your chapters vary. Only do things in life that feel right and serve you as a person. Many of us will have that intuition that if something is not right, we feel ill, or that manifests into physical symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, etc. That is your gut telling you that that is not right. Go with that intuition, because 9 times out of 10, your intuition is right. If you begin to hear opinions that you don't like, then ignore them. Remember that everyone has an opinion about everything these days, and that is just what it is, an opinion. It doesn't say what you are doing or how you are living is wrong. It is just someone's thoughts on you or what you are doing. If their opinion doesn't serve you, then fuck them and fuck their opinion too. So in order for you to be your best, most authentic self, then it is up to you to take the steps that are necessary in order to protect your vibe. Protect it at all costs, and don't let anyone sway you into anything different. This is your life, and your peace is very important for your mental as well as your overall life. You are in charge of your life, so keep and protect your vibe.